power isn't loud. It doesn't argue, and it doesn't chase. And most importantly, it never feels the need to explain itself. Most people misunderstand what power really is. They think it's about dominance, about speaking louder, or proving themselves in every situation. But real power moves differently. It observes, it waits, and it chooses when to act, and when not to. There's a simple rule that people at the highest level follow. Never react. Never explain. Because the moment you react emotionally, you lose control of the situation. Think about the last time someone made you angry. When you responded, were you actually in control, or were you just reacting? Emotional reactions are predictable. And anything predictable can be controlled. If someone knows what triggers you, they can control your behavior without ever touching you. That's how power is taken, quietly. Anger, frustration, defensiveness, these aren't strengths. They're openings. They show people exactly how to get to you. And once someone understands your triggers, they can use them again and again. But the person who stays calm becomes unpredictable. And unpredictable people are very hard to control. Most people live in reaction mode. Someone disrespects them, they respond instantly. Someone challenges them, they defend themselves. Someone questions them, they start explaining everything. There's no pause, no control, just reaction. And every reaction gives away a little more power. But power works differently. It's patient. It understands that every reaction is a form of submission. Because when you react, you're no longer acting on your own terms, you're acting on theirs. Now ask yourself this. Why do you feel the need to explain yourself? Is it to be understood, or to be accepted? Most people don't explain to communicate clearly. They explain because they want approval. They want to avoid judgment. They want to control how others see them. But in doing that, they reveal uncertainty. And people can feel that immediately. They start questioning you more, pushing your boundaries, testing your confidence. Because explanation invites doubt. But silence creates something much more powerful. Silence creates tension. It creates a space that most people feel uncomfortable in, so they try to fill it. And when they do, they reveal themselves. Their thoughts, their intentions, their insecurities. While you stay quiet and observe, when you say less, people assume more. And often, they assume you know something they don't. That's where control starts. Not in what you say, but in what you choose not to say. Real control isn't about dominating other people. It's about controlling yourself so completely that nothing external can move you. Because the moment someone can control your emotions, they control you. If they can predict your reaction, they can control your next move. So the goal is simple. Become harder to read. Not cold. Not emotionless. Just controlled. Measured. Intentional. You speak when necessary. You act with intention. And that alone separates leaders from everyone else. Now let's go deeper. Most people are always available. Always replying, always showing up, always accessible. And because of that, they lose value. When something is always available, it becomes easy to ignore. But scarcity creates importance. The people who are hardest to reach are often the most respected. Not because they are better, but because they are not always available. When you're not constantly present, your presence starts to matter more. People notice when you're gone. They respect your time, because you respect it first. And then there's validation. Most people are controlled by it without realizing it. They want to be liked, accepted, recognized. So they explain themselves. They adjust their behavior. They change who they are, just to fit in. But the moment you stop needing validation, everything changes. You become independent. And independence is power. Because now, you decide your worth, not other people. And finally, there's one move most people struggle with. Walking away. Not arguing. Not explaining. Not trying to prove anything. Just leaving. Because walking away requires detachment. The ability to let go, without needing closure, or the last word. And when you reach that point, you become very difficult to control. Because nothing owns you anymore. Not their opinions, not their words, not even their presence. You're free. And in that freedom, you gain power. So remember this. Don't react to everything. Don't feel the need to explain yourself. Control yourself first. Because the people who master themselves eventually control everything around them. There's something else most people never realize. Silence is not weakness. It's strategy. When you stop reacting, you force the other person to reveal more than they intended. People are uncomfortable with silence. They rush to fill it. They talk too much. They explain too much. And in doing so, they expose everything. This is why the person who speaks less often understands more. They're not distracted by the need to be heard. They're focused on observing, listening, reading between the lines. And that's where real power is built. Not in controlling conversations, but in understanding them. Most people want to be understood. Very few take the time to understand others. And that's why they lose. Because the person who understands always has the advantage. Now think about control again. Not controlling others, but controlling yourself. Your tone, your reactions, your impulses. Because every time you react emotionally, you give someone else influence over you. And the truth is, most people are easily controlled. Not through force, but through emotion. They get angry. They get defensive. They feel the need to prove themselves. And in doing so, they give away their position. But the one who stays calm, the one who doesn't take the bait, becomes impossible to manipulate. Because there's nothing to grab onto. No reaction. No emotional leverage. Just control. And that kind of control makes people uncomfortable. Because they don't understand it. They can't predict it. They can't influence it. And when people can't control you, they start to respect you. Not because you demanded it, but because you became unmovable. That's the difference. Power isn't something you show. It's something you demonstrate. Through restraint. Through silence. Through control. And once you understand that, you stop trying to prove yourself. You stop reacting. You stop explaining. And you start operating from a completely different level.